You weren't even live.
Right, like, now it says
It's just a countdown.
Now it says live. It was just a countdown. Oh,
just a random countdown.
Just a random countdown.
How do I share this for my for any friends?
You can here. I'll put it in the chat. I guess. Would you prefer the chat or the Discord?
I got the Discord up, but either way will work.
Same. Okay, I got both.
Or I'll just throw it in the private chat right here. Should work.
Private chat. There we are.
That is the link.
Gotcha.
Copy. Close that out.
There's nobody in here yet, just me, so it's fine.
That's cool.
We'll give people a minute.
I'm going to post it and see if I get some folks and friends to come out.
Woo.
Yeah, it's good. We're finally actually getting to do some stuff together. We've known each other for like how long, and we've talked about things, and it's finally good. It's fine. It's good to be here. It's good to be part of this.
You've done several things for me.
Well, yeah, that's true.
The one video is up. The other one is not.
Oh no! I think I know which one you're talking about. The one that's not. That was the Sims one, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Sims.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Oh, was that for your class?
That is up. Yeah. That one is up. That's the one that's up. I got an award for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I'll take that. That's good. That's cool. Nice.
Yeah, it was very cool. So we are live, and it looks like there are people showing up. We'll give a couple more minutes. Maybe seconds. I don't know.
Hey, does that countdown actually like show up on the live feed or no? Does it just like start recording as soon as the countdown is over?
No, I had to push go live and I did not. And
okay.
I pushed the countdown before it went live. So
the countdown was just a countdown for us.
Yeah. I just muted y'all because I wanted everyone to shut up.
Yeah, we started talking and then
let's
I swear. Yeah, exactly. On April 1st, I swear you should have the longest countdown you can and say it's for like a movie coming out, and it's only like 1 second of us just hold on, and then just it ends.
I posted a like a 5-minute countdown for my Twitch stream onto YouTube, and I pretty much got hit because they say it was false advertising and all this. I'm like, I was just trying to quit a countdown, and I got a ding on my YouTube account because of that.
Oh, that's
because what I wanted to do is I want to take it and then download it because YouTube has a nice algorithm to make those files nice and small.
Yeah.
And for something like that, that's all I wanted. Is I just wanted to put it up and then download. But within seconds, it was flagged and it was dinged in a heartbeat.
I'll be honest. I'm surprised that I haven't gotten flagged. I made fun of there was these local late night guys, and they were called the Pleasures Dudes. They ran an adult shop, and they would be on at like 2 a.m. and I made like 3 videos just making fun of them of like all their stuff. Turns out they were like stealing content, putting it on paid programming, and like one of them was a failed child actor who would like do all these local spots. It was like this whole deep conspiracy of stuff, and they never flagged me except for they sent me like a message which was like not threatening but threatening. It was when YouTube had messages and it just said like, "You're a good person, good things are happening to you." It's like, just wait till tonight at midnight, and nothing happened.
I've been flagged for several things.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. I think that is enough waiting.
That's enough waiting. Enough chit chat.
So, okay, welcome to the Neato Kino Movie Club number 2 for February. Our movie is Eve's Bayou. Eve's Bayou is a horror drama written and directed by Kasi Lemmons, starring Samuel L. Jackson, Journey Smollett, Lisa Nicole Carson, Lynn Whitfield, Debbie Morgan, Megan Good, and Dion Carroll. Winner of 9 awards for performances, directorial, and features, in addition to many more nominations. And in 2018, it was selected by the Library of Congress for preservation for being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. And the IMDb description says, what did little Eve see and how will it haunt her? Husband, father, and womanizer Louis Baptiste is the head of an affluent family, but it's the women who rule the gothic world of secrets, lies, and mystic forces. Okay, and go ahead and introduce yourselves and tell about your experience with movies and whatever you want, like whatever you do.
Well, hey, I'm Jonas. I am right now I am a motion graphics artist living here in Memphis, Tennessee, and I have worked since the early 90s. I graduated out of Columbia College with a cinematography degree, worked on a number of feature films immediately after, and then my wife and I started moving around, and I kind of fell into some other fields, into television, into radio, and now into the work that I'm doing now. So that's just a little about me.
Nice. Yeah, name is Marcello. I am pretty much always trying to do collaborations. I've done some stuff with Kino as part of the Last Movie Club. On top of that, I do my own weekly comedy podcast called Beers, Bongs, and Battle Axes. It's on Spotify and Anchor. And we just mostly talk movies. But on top of that, I am proudly the associate producer of Don't Fuck in the Woods 2. That will go on my gravestone. And on top of that, I think I'm going to get a business card and just give it to everybody. And trying to think, I've made some short films, and I'm just trying to really break in and just hopefully make a living as a writer one day.
Nice. And hopefully if you know me or you're watching this channel, you know me. I am Kino McFarland. I am a writer, director, performer, and horse person and well-known craziness. Okay. And anyway, okay. So do you guys have any comments about the film just to get us started? Like, what did you notice about it in particular or whatever?
This was the first time that I've watched it since it was released. So I just rewatched it, and I saw so many different and new things this time that it's going to be very interesting to kind of bounce some of these ideas and theories and concepts off of both of you to see what you think and, you know what was going on. It's a good film. It's a very good film, and it's a little bit deeper than I think just a single viewing would take. If you watch it a little bit more, I think you'll catch more into it. So it's interesting. I like it.
Yeah, I too enjoyed it a lot. I guess I'll be honest, the only problem that I kind of had with it was the, oh God, why can't I think of her name? It was the sister of Samuel L. Jackson's character who finds the guy, and it's just kind of like her pacing just felt off of like the whole story. But I get where it kind of ties into concepts with what the movie's trying to say. What's that?
The one who's psychic?
Yeah, the one who's psychic who, yeah.
I can't remember her character's name.
Yeah.
Her character was...
I mean, I have it right here. I should...
Yeah, I just put up a little... so I can remember the names.
Because it's a really good movie. I felt like the pacing of the story was off, but I understand if it's a thinking movie, then it makes sense as to the pacing. But and we'll dive into that more as we get along. But
yeah,
good movie overall. Really offered some ideas that I've had in mind. Just mostly kind of this whole free will versus fate that I felt that the movie was talking about. And on top of that, the movie more than anything just surprised me because this is my first time seeing it ever. So
okay.
This was also my first time seeing it, and I picked it. But I picked it because I felt like it was pretty relevant to our current society and everything. And then also because Women in Horror Month and Black History Month. And like the director, she wrote it and directed it. It's her first feature. And Women in Horror Month is now being moved from February to March. So I figured this is a pretty good transition, and it has all of the above in it. So I thought it was great.
Well, quick question. Who decides like when the months get moved?
There was an organization who does Women in Horror Month, but I think they're dissolving.
Oh,
I don't know the whole details about the whole thing because I'm not very familiar with the group of them. But
okay.
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
interesting.
But I think the idea now is that you should celebrate Women in Horror Month whenever you want.
You know what? It's just people, just
it's just gotten
just
so
people.
weird.
But I do love that more and more female directors are now coming to the forefront and are starting to be become much more viable in the Hollywood system. It is so nice to see that because it's a fresh perspective rather than these male dominated films. And I'd like to see more strong female characters starting to be played. And I think the female directors will be able to get those performances out of them. So I love it. I love seeing it. I really do.
Same.
Yeah. So also, did you guys see Harriet
I did not.
in 2019? Kasi Lemmons directed that one as well. I haven't seen it yet either. It's been on my list for a while, but just a interesting tidbit to bring anybody else up to speed. Okay, so I have.
Oh, she also did Black Nativity. I didn't see that either.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Black Nativity was one. Yeah, she's done a lot of.
She's done a lot. She's been very prolific.
Mm-hmm.
She's an awesome.
And a lot of awards. A lot of awards.
Oh, so she was Bernadette in Candyman. I did not know that. Okay,
Yes.
so as an actress, I've seen her.
She was acting before. Yeah, she was acting before she became a director.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this was her feature debut. So.
And for it to be this powerful, that's cool.
Yes,
Yeah,
and to
that
be
is really cool.
admitted into the Library of Congress for like.
With the first film.
Yes, that is badass.
Yeah.
So anyway, I have a couple questions for you to spark this conversation. And first up, what do you find to be the overall message of the film?
For me, message-wise, not really, but what it kind of really dives into is secrets, skeletons in the closets, lies, and how that affects everyone around you and how that can just simmer and eventually just become toxic and destroy everything around you.
Yeah,
and
I think that's the message. Yeah,
that's kind of like the message. It's kind of what I saw. But yeah, it's a lot. It's all those secrets. It's all that hush, hush. Don't talk about this. Don't talk about that. And when it all comes to light, that's when all those things get connected together, and it all goes downhill quick.
Yeah, I would personally say control is what like a lot of it kind of comes down to, of just whether it's this loss of control or the thought that you are in control. Whether that be from things you have control over, again, kind of going back to this whole free will versus fate of, whether that be infidelity or, like just love of one another and the sort of loss of that innocence as a child, just that over that control through just something that just happened because you were in the right place at the right time.
I like what you're saying about the free will versus fate kind of thing. I know you wanted to talk on that more. What else did you think of for that one?
Mostly like I was thinking how, and this kind of goes with my own beliefs of that. I believe that there are some things that are fated to be, but I also believe that we do have sort of that free will and free control over things before we happen to meet that end journey. Kind of like no matter what route you take, you eventually kind of come full circle to that point. And more than anything, I felt like I saw that in the movie, because even though they don't go to the, the sister, I got to get her name. So I
think she was Roz, wasn't she?
On
yeah, Roz.
Mazel.
No, Roz. Yeah. Wait, Mazel.
Aunt Mazel was Debbie Morgan works as city counselor, and had the three husbands. So that was Mazel.
Yeah. You're right. That's Mazel.
Yes, that's Mazel.
Roz was somebody else. Roz was the mom.
Yeah, Roz was Samuel L. Jackson's sister. Because Lynn Whitfield, or no, I'm sorry, never mind.
I'm looking.
That's the mother. The mother was Roz.
It is
sister. Yeah, the sister is Moselle. The
Yeah,
mother
sister's
is
I'm looking at
My
their
fault.
faces now. I'm like, yes.
My fault. Yeah. Yes. Anyway, Moselle. Every story in that movie was finished except for hers, but yet at the same time, she just said that she's gonna get married and try and tempt fate of what she was cursed to be from the old psychic who was Elzora.
Elzora.
Yeah, Diane Carroll's character, and
see, I have thoughts on her.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead.
I think she was a charlatan.
Uh,
I don't think that she actually had any powers or any abilities.
Interesting.
Because
yeah.
nothing that she had said or done or anything really came true.
That was my next question, like when we were on this topic, is like, do you think like with the fate versus free will stuff, do you think the death and the visions and everything, they were all just like what's happening and no one actually has control over those issues at all? Like the voodoo magic and all that stuff, it has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I think, you have two different sides. You have the, I can see, I'm a seer, I'm, whatever they term that, being the aunt, the aunt character. She was able to see as opposed to the voodoo, which was this other side. So they're two completely different worlds, and they only really tapped into each other just a tiny bit. The one scene where the aunt went and did the one little package that gave to, the one person that came to her. It's like, here. It's like, oh, well, when did you start doing voodoo, Dad? Whatever. That was the only time that she tapped really into that. So you have two different systems. You have the voodoo and you have this seeing. And both of those are completely separate. I do think the seeing side of it was much more true and authentic. I think those were actually coming true as they were progressing through the movie, but the voodoo elements didn't seem to happen and didn't seem to work. And I will argue that no, I think charlatan, take the money, tell them what they want to hear, what you think they should hear. It won't really matter. Hey, in 3 years, this will happen. You'll forget about it. You've just given me your money. So it's I have my suspicions on that character being just a null character to try and build up the fact that Eve thinks she did it, when in fact it wasn't her. It was just a sequence of events that led to what happened, and it was just a coincidence.
I like that. I'm trying to think. So, what was the other time with voodoo when it came into play? Like, what were some of her things that? Because I watched it like a couple days ago and I just don't remember that much.
Mostly, it was just like she is.
Was it just kind of generalizations?
I think so. Like,
time the mother came up, sat down, was like,
she was doing fortune telling.
And they said, oh, my sister thinks I'm a skeptic and all, and said, okay, tell my fortune, and came up with 3 years down the line, and watch your children.
Yeah,
but she also told Moselle that she was cursed. But I'm wondering, was she saying that Moselle was cursed because she knew her in the community?
Very well could be.
Yeah.
Very well could be.
My theory behind that was just how Moselle has to believe it on some level. That was why she stood away for so long until this.
Yeah. And that's why she ran, being mad.
Yeah.
Like you're a wicked witch, basically.
Yeah, until just pretty much Fabio came up out of nowhere and swept her off her feet.
That relationship was very fast to me.
But
I think that's just the way she works. Like, she's just in love, and then that's it.
Yeah. All of a sudden, hey, I'm in town, and I hear you, and then all of a sudden, he's painting her, and she's playing the piano, and they're all.
Maybe she saw their picture together, and that's what that was.
Having fun.
Although,
it's like a few
I
minutes.
read I did read that there is a scene in this film that was deleted that had an entire character just gone. I don't really know exactly what that was or who, but I think that would be really interesting to see the full like director's cut kind of thing, to see like who is actually and how that would affect the rest of the story that we know.
Right.
See if I can find anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, please do. That'd be interesting.
Let's see.
The one character I thought was, that wasn't developed pretty much at all. It didn't really make too much sense to me. Was the boy? Was the son? And that kind of bothered me because I didn't know where he placed. You had this world of these, these very, these women, and then you have him as the boy, and really the only other characters you see are these drunk fathers and these bad ones that are out there, and all this stuff kind of. But what about him? What was his role in the whole story? And I question that.
But like in the beginning, he was Eve was jealous of him because of their mom's love for him. Because like she felt like the outcast of the family, I think. It's like because that's what I got from that first couple of scenes.
From the first couple of scenes with the party at the house and
yeah.
But I don't like, other than that, the son was just not really there.
Yeah, he was just there. I didn't really see a purpose in him. I didn't see why he was in the film, other than maybe to build up that whole idea of, oh, you know, someone's going to get hit, and then, you know, she sees, you know, the legs of the, you know, the boy, thinking it's him, and then, oh, it's not, and it's like, oh, we celebrate, and okay, it's like that was about the only real connection that I saw that boy had in that family. It's and that affection was really only shown in that first sequence.
That's true. Yeah.
So it really bothered me. That was a character that bothered me. I think they could have done more or explained what the role is, because everyone in this film had a very specific role to play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Except for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the way that I'm like thinking about it is just, I feel like his role is kind of like us as just this viewer who is essentially there and not able to do anything. Like, he's not old enough. It's like he would be the only son, and like his dad pretty much is a womanizer, just goes out and gets killed, and yet like he's being raised by all these women who are still obviously trying to find their own way. And I feel like more than anything he would represent us. Like, we're just kind of there in the background, and yet we sort of make our own pieces of this whole puzzle that we're given.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's interesting.
So whose point of view was this story from?
It was Eve's.
Was it from Eve, or was it from one of the other characters kind of retelling it?
The narrator was Eve.
Yeah, I was thinking it was Eve's story, but could it have been, could it have been someone else? Could it have maybe have been the boy who was, telling the story? It was just something that I was kind of wondering, but wondering what you guys thought. But yeah, Eve is the obvious choice.
Of course.
Well, she does say that she is Eve in the beginning and in the end. So like I don't really feel like it could be the boy. Although it would be interesting if it could have been like I feel like it's a stretch though.
Yeah, no, it was. I was throwing it out there. It was something I kind of thought.
Sure.
Wonder whose point of view this is. If it could be somebody else other than her.
If it was someone else, I would say maybe the boy. But I feel like it was just so personally to Eve that I don't think it would be anybody else.
But then,
I would like to see somebody else's perspective.
But then there comes the question right at the end when they're talking about not being able to remember things, and they see snapshots and everything else. So were all of these elements then within the film? Were they all true? Were they not? Were they from this perspective of a young girl who does not necessarily remember all the facts and everything that goes on, and
that's
throws
true.
everything off?
Yeah.
That is
And
very
that was,
true.
it was very important. That was right at the end. We're talking, that was like the two sisters were there. The boy wasn't there. It was just the two sisters staring out at that lake. And that is the voiceover that's coming through. So how much of this was actually truth? How much of this was real?
Yeah.
Memories can be very deceiving.
Mm-hmm. And this film delves into that concept
Indeed.
of memories and what you remember. You know, early on with Eve and Cicely, you have, you know, Eve sees, you know, her father and whatever the woman's name was, sees the two of them. Sister comes in, Cicely comes in. No, I will tell you what you saw.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that was very deliberate.
Exactly, it's very deliberate. So there's this whole mentality. I think it's really into Cicely's head too, which I'll get into a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
Of no, we need to make the reality what we want it to be,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to here is a reality and we're going to tell the story as it is. If this is Eve's story, she was young. Does she remember all this as it happened? And
there's so much to that, like the reasons why someone would be telling a different story or telling a different perspective on that too, because Eve is jealous, so she might make her father be a villain.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you brought that up with the sister thing, because if it is a recounting from Eve's perspective, like why would she include that more than anything? Like, who would do that in the middle of the story? Like, I went to the store, I saw robbery, I came back, and then my brother stopped me, and then he told me, "No, you didn't see that," unless there was some sort of point to it, you know?
It could also just be gaslighting.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Like, it could be a lot of things, and we don't really know because we weren't there.
Yeah.
Really, we were just.
These were the things I caught in that this second watching. As I said, I watched. I'm like, okay, it's good. Then I was watching this. I'm like, there's something more. There's something more going on, and I have to exactly figure out what is happening. And that's why I wanted to ask the question of like, whose point of view? Because if it is from Eve, is the story then true? And if it's not, was maybe the father a very loving father, and the ideas were put into her head that, you know, he was this womanizing character? Was, you know, what was going on? What was really going on?
Or maybe the boy actually died.
I kind of think that may have been a possibility too.
Yeah,
interesting.
And one of the other big points, which I know we were going to have to eventually get to, who kissed first?
Yes, that is the question.
That is the question.
We don't know. I think the answer is that we don't know.
I personally feel that, okay, so Samuel Jackson character Louis, I feel like there definitely was something. Oh, Lewis, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Lewis.
So sorry. I feel like Lewis, there was something going on for sure. And I feel like it happened that night in that point of view of Lewis's. But I feel like there still was some ongoing, not abuse, but for sure loving, because in the very beginning of the movie during the party, like she actually kisses him. And I feel like during that party, a lot of our answers are buried in that, because the party goes on for like a half hour.
Yeah, it's a big sequence.
And I feel like in that we could find like actually some of these answers we're actually looking for.
Yeah.
I don't think that was a single incident.
I agree.
I think that there was a lot that led up to it. And those were some of the memories that were pushed back because, okay, he, you know, comes in, slaps her, and the reaction that she has is so strong and so powerful that it's not just a reaction, you know, this small little thing. It's big, it's huge. She was willing to go get care somewhere else because of whatever was going on.
Yeah.
So that went deeper. That went much deeper. And I think that the father and the daughter, you know, Cicely had something going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
A lot of it.
I agree.
And that was kind of troubling, which is like, which kiss, kissed who first? I think that was a moment when, he finally rejected her for some reason. Don't know why, but yeah. So it's one of those really weird kind of like, I'm like, there's more to this relationship between these two than just that one incident and a very loving father.
Yeah, I feel like in that moment he had that realization of this is my daughter, more than anything. Like he kind of sobered up because who goes up to their dad when they're 12 or something, just start giving them a rub on the shoulders and just
14, I think.
14.
Yeah,
okay.
14.
Oh yeah, because she just had her period. That was
and they say it at the end. It's like, Eve was 9, the boy was whatever, and Cicely was 14.
Yeah.
So
which, by the way, Eve's face was like right in there when she was making fun of her having her period. It was just like, you got your period, and just right to the thing. It was like, Jesus.
I'm gonna tell Dad.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That really freaked you out too. So
yeah.
See, and that actually might tie in.
Really, that was interesting. Is like when that moment, like, and her father knowing that. Yeah.
And that's when he rejected her.
Yeah.
Right. It's like right at that time. So maybe
he's like, it's a woman now.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah. So there's a whole question of who kissed who first. But I think this is something that's been going on a lot longer.
Yeah, definitely.
That was not a who kissed who. This is a rejection and a separation.
And well, not only that, but I feel like between Lewis and his sister, because even though they're brother and sister, they're hardly ever together. So more than anything, like she has to know some secrets about him to where your own blood essentially is with the person you've married. And it's not just for the kids. Like she has to know something is going on, and she might know of the love between Cicely and Lewis.
Yeah, they were fighting over it, but I don't remember there actually being a scene of the mom and Moselle like actually like seeing or becoming aware of that one situation. So that makes me think that there was a lot happening outside of our vision.
Also, was Cicely his own child? As opposed to, I only ask because it seems like he didn't take as much love to Eve and oh God, why can't I think of the son's name? Let me look.
Like I said, he wasn't that big of a character.
Yeah, exactly. I'm here too, guys.
It's Poe.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay.
Really, like Kung Fu Panda? Yeah. So Poe. So like Poe and Eve kind of like don't have the love for Lewis, and I wonder if Cicely was even his child.
That's an interesting theory as well.
That's
like
interesting.
I'm not.
I didn't even consider that.
To bring up real life events, kind of a Woody Allen thing of just that whole like go for your stepdaughter, and that's kind of why there's that back and forth.
But we don't really. There was nothing. Was there anything that alluded to the mom having a previous relationship or a separate relationship?
Nothing that I can remember.
There was nothing that that pointed that out to me, but
nothing that stood out. Again, maybe that first opening sequence, that big party, maybe there's something in there that would explain that.
Yeah.
Maybe we should watch it again and revisit this conversation.
That's what I'm saying. It's like when you watch it and you watch it again, it's like you catch on those little different things. And that's what I love about filmmaking is when the directors are purposely putting stuff in there that you're going to want to watch this again. And then it makes more and more sense the more times you watch it. I love it when directors do that. And this one, this has that going on. Yeah, it makes you doubt what is really happening. Is this, like I said, when you said, what do you think of the film? And I'm like, it's the secrets, the lies, and all this. And when it all starts coming apart and all those strings just kind of get untangled. It just goes and becomes a mess.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I know that I was raised around that environment kind of growing up, and a lot of this for sure, like the acting wise and just everybody kind of keeping to themselves and not really trusting one another. Like a lot of that hit home, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I was so happy that we were reviewing this movie. I love Bones. Bones is a good movie, but there's no ending. There's no point talking about it.
Yeah.
But this is just so much different. This is like its own, like just complex puzzle, and really, just I do love
It's
this
a really
movie.
good film. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot that hasn't, that others have probably found and discovered and are looking into it and connecting things. And as I said, I don't think that I think that one voodoo person was a charlatan. I'm going to take your money, tell you what you want. The whole voodoo doll thing. She goes into thinking she's going to get a voodoo doll, but oh no, I made a wax coffin and fed it to a snake. There was nothing to show for it.
Nope.
There was nothing there. She didn't provide anything.
She was very excited over the $20 though.
Yeah, but she was excited about this. It's like, I'll take your money. I'll take your money. And that's where it all seemed to kind of like be. It's like, I'm just taking your money. So I think that whole voodoo thing was null and void.
I agree.
I think that led to other things.
Yeah. I think the belief that she could be real is what led to stuff. And Mazel even talks about how she's a sideshow act or whatever. And being in sideshow myself, I can definitely agree that being a charlatan is part of it.
Did you ever get that excited for $20?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
$20! Wow!
Maybe not that excited, but I don't know. It depends.
That was a level of excitement that was
like really thrilled over the $20.
She's gonna burn her house down and just
got money?
start anew. Yeah.
Like,
Like I
let me
have
see that.
$20.
Really? You really have $20?
You have money? Yeah, I'll take your money.
This was 1997. Like $20 was a lot, but it wasn't like that much.
The movie
But the
takes
film
place in the
took
60s.
I was going to say the film
the
took place,
60s.
I thought, in the 60s. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's even that much more.
For
that
sure.
was
If
a
it
lot
took
of
place in
money.
the 90s,
That's a lot of
I
money.
guarantee there would have been a television in there.
True. Very true. So they wouldn't have been bored when they were locked in the house. So they at least had something to watch.
Jeez.
Like television,
They would have been able to go
Nintendo,
ahead and turn on
like-
Cartoon Network. They would have been able to go ahead and watch their stuff. And
like, yes, we're stuck inside.
we're
No,
stuck inside.
that's if they had cable. If they had the bunny ears, you were screwed. It was just nothing but like Christian programming and PBS.
They were an affluent family, so they probably had like all the channels.
And if it was 97, it would be very likely that they would also have America Online, so they would be able to access the internet through a disc.
She'd find voodoo herself.
I still have free internet from those discs.
I want to do it. I just want to do an art project with all those discs one day. But anyway,
Do it.
just stacks.
It might have been you that I was talking to about that before, or somebody else that I know actually did it. But I'm like, do it.
But
Would you, if you were to do something with those discs, would you do like the Jerry Maguire with Everything Is Awesome? I don't know if you know about that.
I don't know what I would do with it. Interesting. I'd have to. I could figure something out. I can figure something out.
Sculpture. I don't know.
Make like a big giant disco ball or something. And,
Oh, that would be awesome. It's a
and shoot, like,
disco
the
ball of
lasers
free
across
internet.
and shoot lasers at it, and then have lasers kind of bouncing all over and
That would,
creating these really cool patterns.
oh, that'd be awesome, man.
That'd be neat. That'd be cool. Somebody who's watching right now is probably writing that idea down. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna beat this Jonas guy to the punch.
Probably. It happens to me all the time. Although I think mostly the internet is like wired into my brain and people just steal my ideas. That's fine. I got my own
That'd be
still.
first.
Anyway, so let's see, we have 20 minutes left.
The death. The death. The father actually dying.
Yes.
This was another big, another big moment where he actually does die. And it lends some credibility to the whole concept of the voodoo and did Eve actually kill him or not? Or was it just kind of inevitable?
Like fate, like we were discussing.
I think, though, that Eve had, in her one discussion with the other man, with that discussion of being like, oh, the loneliness. Unlike, my mom and you who are lonely, they're not revealing without saying it that, you know what, your wife and my father are, getting together and doing stuff. And so that seed was planted, but it had nothing to do with voodoo. And so I think there was like this whole, as secrets were being revealed, no matter how big or small they were, all of that stuff was being unraveled, and it started coming to the point where it is going to come to a head. And that's where it was going to be. And I don't know why it is, but all of the men in this film seem to be drunk a lot.
Yep.
There was a lot of drinking going on. And I think that clouds the vision and clouds everything else. And when you're drinking, you make bad decisions. Mm-hmm. And, he had, the father had the scuffle in the beginning, right after the initial party with the uncle. And then,
quick, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt your train of thought.
It's just a train of thought. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yes. I don't mean to interrupt it, but so the uncle died right after, right? That was one thing I was a little confused on. Was they showed him going home drunk, and then it was just the next day she planted like a rose, or I don't know how much time had passed.
I don't think we ever really know how much time is taking place in this whole. Yeah, it's kind of experimental in that way. Like in addition to all the flashbacks and all that stuff. So I don't think it's really. I'm not sure the time passing is necessarily important, but she does mention that it has been 10 years. So maybe the time passing is important. I don't know.
Yeah, time would be an interesting thing to look at in this film. Because they do mention, like days and time and this many years or this much time. And
yeah. Another thing that I noticed that I think has a pretty significant play in the pun intended, unintended, and intended, was Romeo and Juliet. The daughters are obsessed with Romeo and Juliet. I don't know if obsessed would necessarily be the right word, but they are playing Romeo and Juliet and reciting Shakespeare several times.
Yeah.
And so, like, what significance do you think that play in particular plays on their opinion of what's going on in their lives, and maybe how they're telling their story, or what?
I feel like they have no imagination. They're very boring.
Well, I know the one time was when, they were locked in the house and they couldn't go out anywhere. They were, in the one room doing it.
It was also in the beginning.
Also in the beginning? Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, I know that the one when they were locked in the house they did then. Don't recall the beginning, but
Cicely was reciting it.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Eve was later.
Mm-hmm. Eve was the last.
Yeah, that's interesting. I have no idea.
It's like maybe like I don't know. This was just speculation, but like it could be that they're making so much of this up. To go back to like the memories and the perspective and all of that stuff.
Where is all this coming from? What is true and what isn't in this story?
Exactly. And she dramatizing everything to make things more interesting. Is this actually taking place during the time when they're locked inside because their mom is afraid they're going to get hurt? Like there's so much that you could just like, I don't know. There's just so much to it, I think.
And yeah, that's what I'm like. whose story, where these memories.
Yeah.
It's extremely. That's why
I
I went
still
to.
don't think necessarily it would be anyone other than Eve, but
But is it a correct story?
exactly.
Yeah.
Like I don't think there's no way it's 100% true.
Right, because if you think of let's say something that happened when you were 9, are you going to remember those facts? Are you going to remember the sequence of events?
True.
I don't
You're
even
going to remember things a little
yesterday.
exaggerated. You're going to see things that are going to be exaggerated. You're going to be thinking of things that are the key moments. So we're seeing a lot of those key moments. We're seeing the death. We're seeing the voodoo doll. We're seeing those types of things. Those are big key events. And then tying everything up in between is where it probably gets a little foggy.
Mm-hmm.
And you're trying to let's say take point A and point B, connect them. And if you don't really remember, you kind of put the pieces together in the best way you think happened. Hence the whole conversation about the memories at the end.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, I have one more topic that I want to hit, and then if there's time, we can take it anywhere else. How do you think the theme of infidelity relates to our current society?
Oh, geez. Just go to Tinder. Ashley Madison was like, it had so many people signed up, and what was it when they got their security hacked? There were so many people that were trying to dodge all their details getting out there. It's for sure current when it comes to that, of just the idea of love and having love has now just become something sort of on demand, like a TV show or anything like that. Like we've sort of, in what was supposed to bring us together in communication, like all of us doing right now, a lot of people don't really take the time to do that, and rather they would go to Twitch streams and just watch, GTA 4 plays, do whatever. Yeah, watch us. Like it's like this whole avoiding life thing of like the essential beauty of what's going on right now. Just no communication.
I see a big difference. I'm the older one in this group, as I can pretty much assume. My wife and I have been married for 25 years, and we're not going anywhere. But I see so many people they jump from one person to another. I see marriages that happen, and all of a sudden divorces a year later.
Yeah.
And, I see this all the time. And I don't know if it's due to the times or if it's due to just a change in people's attitudes and concepts, but yeah, people they're not going for long term. They're just going for instant gratification and satisfaction. They're just looking for something for now.
Yeah.
And I will find something better later if I have to.
Yeah.
You to me are a car. I can replace you. But if I got a really nice car, I'll keep you. I got a, whatever the case may be. And I got a really nice car. so yeah, no, my wife and I, we're going to be dying 2 days apart from each other, because it'll be one of those things where it's like, the sadness will overcome them. Like,
I think that's going to be the same for Kasi.
Yeah, infidelity is terrible, terrible, terrible.
Yeah.
And it's, yeah.
With your wife as a car analogy, is she in the garage?
No, I'm actually the one who's in the garage.
Oh, in the garage.
my whole studio is a 2-car garage that I've converted into like this whole big. I got the DJ booth. I got this. I'm gonna be
That's really
some
cool.
other stuff in the corner.
Awesome, though, man.
A little bit envious.
So yeah, again, I got the big green screen over here. I actually had a couple of short independent films come in to use my green screen.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that means you have the space, sir.
Which means that I got plenty of space at this point.
Yeah,
that's awesome. That is really cool.
Yeah,
you are top notch.
No, I'm just a guy with a 2-car garage.
I want to say,
that's all.
Being the only single one here for sure, I feel like physicality plays a major part today, more than it really ever has. And and I see like sometimes pictures of people back in the 50s and they look like they're middle aged and they're like actually 16. To where like we just expect, I don't know if it's like we were grown to expect so much more, just because like that's how we were raised or whatnot, but it is that whole thing of just it's jumping from one thing to another to another to another. And I know right now I actually have a coworker who posts nonstop about her status, and I think she switched from like 3 guys in the past couple months, and that is one of the things of today. It's just, it is more on the physicality and how everything looks to someone else rather than what is essentially making you fulfilled.
On that note, do you think Louis Batiste was abusing his power to like
Yes.
appear more good at his job, like by also like getting women attached to him and like to like get that, like, is that where, like, was he feeling insignificant somewhere and like he's, I don't know.
That's a fair point. It did get a little porny at one point. Just, I got a fever, doctor. And then...
It's like, I think he was visiting a lot of these patients because, they needed special medicine that only Doc could bring.
They needed the Dr. Lewis.
Come on in, Doc.
Yeah. Doors open and, oh, God.
I'm just pushing aspirin and...
This if I ever find a doctor like that, I'm running away.
This whole movie could be solved if he was a gynecologist.
Yeah.
I think he'd probably have a lot more work.
But he works some really, really long hours. Yeah, I mean, he had to be good.
Yeah.
Either he had to be good or he had to be really bad at his job.
He was yeah, they were paying him
the most popular doctor is what they said, and it was just like.
But in a small town, how many doctors do you really have?
Yeah. He's just getting standing O's from the neighborhood, just walking in.
Oh my God.
He walks in with a strut. It's like,
hey, what's going on?
He knows he's
I'm
have a good day.
I'm the doc.
But that's a good point if he was a good doctor or not. Because,
Or was he just popular with the ladies?
Because he could have been a terrible doctor and was trying to do stuff and was just not. Who knows?
I have so many questions, honestly.
It's just like such porn logic, though. My ankle's broken, and then I got something. And then they just start the love scene.
I've got a fever.
Like, go outside, Eve. Go outside, Eve. Eve is always pushed outside to be like shoved away from the relationships of whatever he's doing, and I think that probably plays a big factor into this. Because like she's just always being told to go outside or to go away.
True.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have 4 minutes left.
I thought it was good film. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Terrific movie.
I really liked it too, and it was the first time I had seen it, and I really liked the cinematography, really, and the editing, and I liked the visions. That was very up my alley. That's kind of like the style that I like to do myself. So I was very happy to see that as well.
There were for sure times, though, I felt like it was a little borderline overacting. And I don't know if that's just like the style or just how the scene was.
I think it was probably partially the 90s and just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I know the girl who played Eve was, I think she was in Full House, like years earlier. Yeah.
She was Black Canary in Birds of Prey.
Oh yeah, that too.
Oh really?
But,
she has a great singing voice.
She is up there now, yeah.
And her brother is also famous for being on Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing else.
Yeah.
But not the one that was in the movie. I think that dude's actually a chef, from what I saw. He's like actually a celebrity chef. He has like his own Facebook and following and show and everything.
Jake Smollett.
Yeah.
And a show on home cooking
HGTV
channel or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Oh God, that's
one of those channels.
Living by Design with Jake and Jazz. I haven't seen that.
We have HGTV at work in the break room, and it's so infuriating because nobody changes it because it's so politically correct that it's like, well, nobody wants to be depressed by news.
I think
just like
Hanging with Mr. Cooper is one of the shows that I remember that they were in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was,
I haven't thought of that in ages.
Yeah.
yeah.
What
That was
happened to
we watched
the
that a
main
lot
guy?
as a kid.
What
Huh?
happened to the main guy from Hanging, like Mr. Cooper himself?
Mr.
What
Cooper.
else did he do? Like it
Mark
feels like that was it.
Curry.
Yeah, Mark Curry. I think he did like NBA stuff, and then that was it.
He was in a short film, Dreams from the Edge, last year.
He was like Dollar Store Sinbad, and then he just
Looks like
disappeared.
he's done a couple things here and there. Not a whole lot. Looks like just like walk-on roles or like one episode kind of thing.
Oh, okay. Was it as Mr. Cooper? Because that's the best.
No, he was like a principal. I haven't seen any of these shows, but he's been working since forever.
Okay, yeah. 'Cause
1980. It's just not mostly like an episode here and there. There was a series 2012 to 2014 C-Dad run.
that sounds amazing.
I remember that vaguely.
I don't remember that at all.
The episodes are called C-Dad Get in the Ring. C-Dad Fire Original Katie again. Sounds like a fun show to watch. I think I might have to check that out.
You know what I hear is
good shot of cannon.
You know what I hear is good is like Gary Busey, was it Pet? He's like some court for pets. It's on Amazon. He's the judge. Oh my God.
I heard about that.
It's just him being crazy and a judge. It's awesome.
I'm going to close this out, but we can go in back studio if we want to keep talking for a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah.
But go ahead and say your social media, where to find you, etc., and I will put them on the screen as well.
Okay, well, the two main places you can find me are on Twitter and on Twitch. On Twitter, I am MotionDesign, and on Twitch, I am /MotionDesign. And I do streaming mainly of DJ streams, film trailers, and then motion graphics work. So that's where I do that. And then my main public outlet is the Twitter feed. So those are my two big ones that I have.
Nice. You said DJ streams. Do you
Yes.
actually spin your own stuff?
No, well, I'm fully ASCAP licensed and BMI licensed and everything else. I can legitimately do because I'm legitimately able to play this.
I told you he's top notch.
That is awesome.
I know what I'm doing. And I've conversations with a lot of people, and they're like, "You got this covered." So I'm actually able to broadcast DJ streams.
Wow.
But I'm not allowed to record it because I don't have that right. So I just have to make them where you cannot see the VODs afterwards or see any clips of it. I am safe and secure.
Is that your would that be your DJ name? Have you thought of a DJ name, or is it just motion
I have been going as PlasticCitizen for 1986.
That was the year I was born.
First time. That was the year you were born?
Yeah.
Man.
I started DJing in 86.
Wow.
And it's been a long run. I have so much ancient equipment that I just stored in closets.
That's amazing.
There's still, man.
You can also
There has to
find
be a story.
Jonas in several of my short films and stuff on my Neato Kino channel, which is elsewhere. Anyway, go ahead, Marcello.
I am on Instagram, Crowe303, CROWE 303. Also on YouTube at White Crow, WHIT3CR0W3. I know it's a different long handle to remember, but the name is just actually something my mom thought of, and pretty much I just kind of do that in memory of her. So
Do I have your Instagram written correctly on there?
Yep.
Okay. So there is an E and then a 303. Okay.
Yeah. It's like Russell Crowe. It's like Russell Crowe. Speaking of which, Unhinged. If people haven't seen Unhinged, that is a fun movie. Everybody sucks in it but Russell Crowe, and he's just like a fat person who just kills people. It's amazing.
And Marcello is also in some of my work, so you can find them.
Please do. It is good work.
Somehow we're all interconnected.
I use everybody.
Yeah, no.
That's not a good quote, Kino.
I know. But
I use everybody.
I love supporting other creatives, and whoever's out there who is looking for me to help them out and do some. I'm glad. I'm always glad. I want all of us just to be like elevated to the best we can when it comes down to art, creativity, music, visuals, photography, whatever it may be. Let's just all make ourselves all better.
oh, by the way, Jonas, I was talking to Angel Spit about your stream.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
So I don't know. They might talk to you. I don't know.
Yeah, I've actually had a couple of other. I've had a couple of bands that have actually come by and that I've talked to. I'm thinking about doing some interviews with some acts. And
Oh, that'd be cool.
Nice.
So
That'd be very cool.
I might want to do that as a kind of like a separate kind of thing. Something like a little sit down, kind of like this.
Cool.
That'd be
Anyway.
awesome, man.
That is it for this chat today. I hope you all liked it, whoever sees it in the future. And we'll see you next. Oh, wait. The movie for March, before I forget. The movie we are watching in March is The Ranger, which is available on Shudder and elsewhere. Some people I know kind of worked on it. Not people I really know very well, but just, and yeah, so it's available.
Badmouth it?
No, we're not bad mouthing anything. There is no such thing as a bad movie anyway.
Have you seen Disaster Movie, Epic Movie, Date Movie, Meet the Spartans?
Hey, I worked in the theater and Blockbuster when all that stuff came out. So.
The Nut House from Sam Raimi.
You can learn something from every movie, even the worst ones.
I agree, and it's not to make that
stage,
crap.
I will tell you about a film that I recently saw a trailer for that. I'm not going to mention this online, but why?
I'm going to end the broadcast before this gets any crazier. Anyway, so thank you everybody for watching, and we will see you the last Sunday of March for our chat on The Ranger. Thank you and good night.